Hello everybody. Today we are talking about Kumbha, the sleeping giant, and I dare you to not yawn throughout this whole video. It's not possible, but good luck. Alright, looking at our build here, we have our typical start, Watcher's Gift, nothing crazy. You get your potions, you get your wards, you're all good. Going in your first item, Midas Boots, definitely. If anything, choose the focus, cooldown to get your crowd control more often, but Pen Boot's not going to do any good. Midas Boot's going to do you the greater good here. Looking into your core items, most likely Sovereignty. Kumbha has very good mana consumption. Mana shouldn't be a problem. Hive the Urchin is still a great item all around, but you can think about it. But you probably want to get Sovereignty before that, then go into Hive the Urchin if you're going to. Me, preferably, I would go from Sovereignty to Magi's Blessing. Kumbha has a hard time with objectives, no real natural secure. Okay at stealing because you can ulti the opposing support and try to steal the objective, so not too bad with that. But no real way to secure his own objective. If you're going to get a damage item on Kumbha, you're looking at endgame either Soul Reaver. That combined with your ultimate will do about 40-50% or so of a squishy's health. Or you can get an Ethereal Staff, that'll give you more health at the end, and of course your health becomes some of your magical power, help you get out some more damage. Kumbha's scaling is okay, pretty good on its ultimate. Defensive items, of course, were situational, Witchblade, Pestilence, Midgardian Mails, Spirit Robes, Bulwarks of Hope, etc. Actives, Wrath of the Gods, definitely. Blink, a very popular active on Kumbha, allows him to get into a fight, mez everybody around him, ultimate people up, root people, all kinds of good stuff. Shell of Absorption, still a great active, and of course Weakening Curse if you have to get it. And then of course our consumables laid out nicely for us. Looking at Kumbha abilities here, we have his passive, which is Sleepy. When you die, every 4 minutes, you have a sleeping form where you have to be auto-attacked X amount of times, 6 times plus 1 for every 5 levels, and if you don't, after 8 seconds you come back with a quarter of your health. Most of the time this passive won't do you any good. The times when it will is usually early game if you manage to get back in your tower when you die and your minions are coming up and then they can't kill you. That's about the only time that passive becomes useful. In the middle of a team fight, it doesn't really do you any good most of the time. Throwback is your skill that you're going to level up first. This is both your getaway and your damage skill, so you can pretty much get it right off the start of the game. You don't got to worry about it. It does a good amount of damage, pretty good scaling. If you hit a player, it's just going to bop them and do the top damage. If you hit a minion, it's going to fly the minion and do damage through everything that that minion hits, through minions, through players, etc. Does a lot of damage. Really good lane clear for Kumbha, and that's the skill you get first. Mighty Yawn, which is your 3, is typically the skill that I get second. A lot of people like to get the root second, and it is a second and a half, which makes it half a second longer than the Mez tier 1. But me personally, I find that if you're going to be going for either a kill, the extra second slow is pretty good. The root's fine, but if you need to peel for your ADC, you're going to want Mighty Yawn because then you can mez both of them at the same time. Root can be hard to land on two people because you can mez somebody in front of you and behind you at the same time. Also, that still afterwards will help a lot. I find it's just safer to get your 3 first. That's the way I like to do it. You can go get Groggy Strike and see what you like the most, but that's just what I like to do most of the time. Then, of course, go back and level up your throwback, help with your clear, and then at level 4, you get the one that you did not get at level 2. Groggy Strike, of course, we talked about it a little bit. 1.5 second root. This skill does not scale up the root duration, only the damage. That means that you're going to level up Mighty on second after your throwback. The mez goes up to 3 seconds, plus a 2-second slow after the mez is broken. Your ultimate, which you're pretty much going to want to level up every time that you can get it. There's Epic Uppercut. You have a small distance in front of your character where you will dash forward CC immune, and it will knock the character up into the air for about a second and a half or so. Then they come back down, and in a little circle area around them, if there's any enemy gods in there, it'll do damage to them, and those gods will fly out and get knocked up. This skill can be prevented by using a preemptive beads, and it will eat your cooldown on your ultimate, so you have to be a little bit careful using it. Thinking about some matchups here for Kumbha. Good supports to go against is going to be low clear supports. You're looking at your Athena and your Bacchus. They don't have that much lane clear, so you can use your one and you'll be able to get good clear off. You can use some initiation from your skills, try to fight them in the lane. The ones you don't really want to go against, you're looking at like Geb, Sylvanas. Sylvanas is the worst case scenario to go against in lane, and that's actually who I will be laning against today. Really hard laning phase. Sylvanas does very well against Kumbha. Geb mainly because towards the end of the game, if you mess somebody or somebody, Geb shields them off of them, and it becomes kind of hard towards the end game. I prefer my ADC in this case to be an aggressive ADC. Kumbha has a lot of CC, a lot of setup, so that means your Anhur can land his Impale easy, your Ullr can land his stun, your Neith can land her root. Kind of wasted if you go along the passive route of Apollo Rama-ish, where you're going more towards lane clear, late game. That's fine, but Kumbha is already a really late game oriented support, which we're going to find out this game. That's his big pro-con. Con, really bad early game, pro, really good late game. So that's the big difference there, but we're going to go ahead and get ourselves into this game. We are on the order side of the map over here, starting at our blue buff, knocking the small minion into the big minion to make sure we get off the most damage here. We did not start at the back harpy because the back harpy would have prevented us from getting to the lane in time. We're going to have a very hard time clearing this game. We are against a Sylvanas Anhur, a very deadly lane, against a Kumbha Apollo, not one of my favorite lanes, but since we can get here early, we can at least get off a bit of lane clear at the start to try to increase our lane presence. The wave isn't quite making it into the tower, but that's not really the point. The point is hopefully now we can get a little bit of harass off on the wave before it gets to us. Maybe enough to help us get the clear on the wave. The Sylvanas hill will be a big problem. Trying my hardest to get pressure on this wave. I don't want to use my hog because it seems that we will be okay this wave. I know I'm going to have to use my hog on a crucial wave, but I also have to note that I have to use my hog sooner than later or it will go to waste because I cannot wait too long or it will be time for mid harpies and my 90-second cooldown hog will not be up in time. I shouldn't have probably used my one right there, but it'll end up being okay because I'm just going to hog this wave regardless. This will get me level 3 and her actually using his impale on me instead of clearing the wave. Ended up benefiting us that he did that, honestly. But unfortunately, Freya is going to make an early rotation to our lane. But Apollo dips into the jungle, and the hunt begins. Nemesis comes over looking for a kill, and we're starting to put a lot of pressure on Sylvanas. Sylvanas extremely hard to kill right now at level 3 with how much healing he has. It seems he might have leveled up 2 points into his heal, providing him a lot of protections and HP 5 this early in the game. But my team is going over looking for a pick onto Freya, and Freya's gank will be negative onto her, and we will get a first blood onto our Vulcan. Freya down for the count. Picking up this wave because the Apollo won't be able to get here in time for it, making sure that somebody gets this XP. Kind of chilling out here. At this point, there is no way in 7 hells we are going to get lane control back when they have us pushed up, as well as having a Sylvanas and her when I am a Kumbha with an Apollo. Nemesis comes over looking for a possible gank, but Anhur's going to knock her away. She's not level 5 yet, so we don't have any kill potential, and Sylvanas can just heal them back up any of the damage dealt. Using my clear on the wave, hopefully enough of the wave will die. I'm trying to rotate over to mid-harpies, but they're going in on my Apollo, so I'm trying to help him out as much as I can. Unfortunately, both the Anhur and the Sylvanas hit level 5, so I cannot help my poor Apollo. Freya whoops me as I'm rotating over towards the mid-harpy, so I have to just retreat with my tail between my legs and go back towards this ADC lane. Couldn't get the mid-harpy, and Sylvanas will be ahead of me. This is going to happen every time you play Kumbha against Sylvanas. Not a good matchup. Don't pick up into this matchup. I got counter-picked, picking an early Kumbha. He picking up Sylvanas later. Very good counter-pick from him. Making a relatively early back, just grabbing some of my boots. Can't get full Midas boots yet, not even close. But I can grab a couple of wards to try to prevent us from getting ganked too much more. The Freya did do an early gank, so we have to be wary of that. Freya getting her return kill onto the Vulcan, feeling pretty good about herself there. The revenge tastes so sweet. Vulcan complaining that there's 3 middle lane. Seems to be pretty upset by this matter. And I'm going to help my Apollo get his blue buff. I can't really go around and look for too many kills right now. The mid lane is an Agni. Agni's a very safe mid laner. Relatively impossible to gank as a support. He just dashes away. Can't do anything about that. But I can help get my wards out for my Apollo. Maybe chill with him for a second. Keep leveling up my 1. Keep ranking that up. I will not get my last point into the skill because the last point will full clear the wave, not allowing my ADC to get stacks. I see the Agni dash into the mid wave. Maybe we can do something on him, but my team is over at their red buff, which is fine. But we won't be able to kill the Agni. Saving this wave for my Vulcan to come, bopping the wave, getting some clear off, making sure that my Vulcan's not stacking. It's only 5 minutes in the game. He shouldn't be stacking, but checking anyway. My poor Apollo getting picked off over in the left lane again. He's having a very unfortunate early game, but half of that is my fault because this is a very bad support lane matchup, so I can't really do much for him at this point. Is trying to minimize the damage that we are taking. Only down about 800 gold right now. Not too bad. Could be better, but could very well be worse in this scenario, considering how bad this matchup is. Apollo won't be able to make it to this wave, so I'm trying to stay around to grab the XP as I can, but Sylvanas making a very smart move here, zoning me out from the wave. He knows I can't really push up because if the Sylvanas tries to pull me and then I get killed, but he wastes his pull, which means now I'm kind of 3 or 2 move up trying to get the XP. Mid Harpy spawning pretty soon, but I gotta make sure I get credit for this wave. Very important wave. I can use my bop on the wave and then Apollo can full clear it. Not sure if he has Devo gloves yet or not, but either way, he will get his stacks now if he did. I can finish up my Midas boots, which is good for me. I can also grab an extra ward for on my way back. The mid Harpies will be spawning. I won't be able to make it to them, but it was more important for me in order to get those Midas boots right now. Our mid Harpy contention right now, not the best. Agni, Sylvanas, Freya, very deadly combo at the mid Harpy. Kumbha not really kicking online yet. My damage is okay. My crowd control is okay. But I'm not nearly as good as I will be in about 20 minutes here. Vulcan doing well for himself in the mid lane, even though he did get killed towards the earlier part of this game. Our Nemesis getting kind of cut off in that left jungle there, so I'm going to go help her out by getting a ward. Nemesis ulting the Agni, so I'm going to look to try to go in on this Agni, make a play on him. Looking for the root. Sylvanas comes in, uses his ultimate, but because of I was using my root, it did not proc on me. Really wanting to get a kill onto the Agni, but I won't be able to go get him enough. Trying to get out my hardest by using my crowd control and everybody around me, knocking up the Anher, but it will not be enough, and I will die here. A bit of team miscommunication here with Nemesis ulting and us trying to go in and help and then not really collapsing on it. Vulcan kind of staying back. The Apollo was already behind, so he was kind of timid to go in. Vulcan getting a good cleanup kill, though, in the mid lane after this fight is all over. Letting everybody know that he is indeed the best. So that's good. It was good to know that we have the best on our team. I thought the best stopped playing Smite, but he's actually on our team. So that is pretty cool. And he plays Vulcan. So look at that. Checking the stats page, of course, every once in a while. You got to keep up on when people are getting tier 3 beads, when they're getting their tier 3 hogs, what actives they have, what builds they have. Are they stacking, blah, 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 blah. And that's on your team, too. You know, you need to know who on your team is stacking. You know, the Vulcan not stacking yet. Still upset that I took some of his wave, but he's not stacking yet, so he has nothing really to complain about. Don't worry about people complaining about you taking some of their XP support. That's your job. You need to go around and grab some XP or you're going to fall really far behind. At this point, we had all died at that engagement, and they did the Gold Fury when the Vulcan picked off the Agni middle. So we're about down 2,000 gold right now, which is, I mean, pretty far behind in the grand scheme of things for, you know, only having been in the game for 9 minutes. Trying to get a pick off on this and her, but Sylvanas is going to come in and make a really good play onto us right here. Trying my hardest to save our Apollo, knocking up the Anher, turning around, trying to see if he was going to dive us for the root. And my Apollo will be able to hopefully not die here. Mid Harpies once again spawning, but you know, we're 2,000 gold behind. I've got a back right now. It's a bad time, you know. What are you going to do? I think about getting Blink right here. Blink, a very common active to get onto Kumbha, let you set up your skills very well. But I realize we're going to need the Weakening Curse. The Sylvanas AoE heals are going to be a lot of the problem. Chalk has great self heals. Freya's got built-in lifesteal, stuff like that. So I make the executive decision that I'm going Weakening Curse this game. That will be better in the later stages of the game. It'll hinder my early game ganks, but it'll help towards the later part of the game when we're looking at team fights. Trying to pick off the Agni here. We're going to go ahead and smack him in the face until he dies with our lamp post. Looking to go grab that Freya. She's just too far away from my creeping curse. I see the Apollo ulting in though. And the Apollo, well, he tried. What are you going to do? Trying to bop the Freya with my one, but she is just like half a centimeter too far away. Not sure if it would have actually killed her. It definitely would have if I had all 5 points into my one, but it doesn't matter. It did not hit her anyway. Nemesis looking deep in their right side jungle for buffs. Smart play. When you get pickoffs on people, very smart to start looking towards their buffs. I see the Sylvanas is alone in middle here. I can ulti him so my Nemesis can get to me. Bada bing, bada boom. I can root him, pop my one. Very easy combo there in the Sylvanas with a little help of the Nemesis, and we pick up a nice free kill. Looking to help my team here. We're going, and I get caught in the jungle by a Freya. The Anher goes around the long way. My Nemesis was going around the back way looking for the Anher, and I get completely picked off right here. My Vulcan saying, please? I'm not sure what he's saying please for, but he says please, so he's at least a nice guy. At this point, I need to start thinking about getting tier 3 Hog. I don't know the exact time that they did the Gold Fury, but I can know that it was probably around 4 minutes ago, which means the Gold Fury will be spawning very soon. I hadn't gotten it earlier because the Gold Fury was already down, didn't need the tier 3 Hog. You know, don't waste your money if you don't have to. But now is about the time that I need to start getting it finished up here. Vulcan getting killed there by a good Sylvanas ult. This team fight is continuing on. A lot of low people on both sides right now. The Apollo is ulting in the air. Could he be going for the kill? Yes, he is. He's picking off the Anher. Our Vulcan has decided that the game is over. There is no way we can win. GG, no re. Nah, we're going to be okay. I decided we're going to be okay. Trying to bop the Agni with my one. Unfortunately, I miss him because I am not very good at Kumbha. But I will miss my other skills too, so that way it's consistent across the board. You don't want to like hit some skills and then not hit some. If you miss them all, it's like, oh, he's bad. I mean, that's the easy way to do it. Have you yawned yet, by the way? Think about it. Think about yawning. Think about it. Over in the left lane, Apollo grabbing some good XP, some much needed experience. He's actually caught himself up now. He is 1 level ahead of the Anher. As you can see there, very common thing that happens is there's ghosts that go around in the game, and they're invisible and they don't do any damage, but right before you back sometimes they try to get you, and so if you use your hog right before then, sometimes you trick them and you can hog them and you could kill the ghosts. That's why I used my hog there. It wasn't a misclick. I was killing the ghosts that way because they go into your guys' games, and that way they don't go into your guys' games. Really, I'm saving you guys, so you can thank me in the comments about that one. Putting a regular ward on this Gold Fury, I don't know if they have a sentry on it, and this will allow me to tell. If I put down my sentry and they have a regular ward, and then I counter their regular ward, they're just going to counter my sentry, and then I'm down a sentry, and they have vision again on the Gold Fury. It's the, I talked about it in the Chalk video, it's the old, thou who puts down their sentry ward first loses game. At this point, we're looking for a pickoff because we really want to get ourselves a Gold Fury. That's what we're aiming for right now. The first team to get picked off is probably going to be giving up a free gold. If we can pick off a support, that's best case scenario. That way they have no chance of hogging it. But if we can pick off anybody, really, it'll be okay. I have to keep my presence right around this Gold Fury. They're just kind of trying to bait it out. They really want to get us to go in for a bad engagement. So we need to be very careful about what we do here. I don't have enough money to finish my weakening curse yet, so their heals will matter right now. No way to stop them from happening. Freya going really, really deep in the jungle by herself. I'm chilling with Agni middle, just getting a little bit of harass off on him, doing what I can, trying to make sure this XP doesn't go to waste. I see Vulcan coming towards the mid lane, so I'm trying to get a little bit of pressure onto the Agni there. Nothing that I could really do. Not taking too much damage from my troubles, but Sylvanas will blink in and ult on the Vulcan. Vulcan taking a lot of damage from a lot of Agni bombs. Luckily, the Sylvanas misses his ultimate, and that will be both of their ultimates down. We did not use any of our ultimates, and that is actually a very good exchange for us, assuming they don't get the Gold Fury immediately afterwards. I'm at about half health or so, but I can't really back because they can just do the Gold Fury if I do. They're starting it up, but they reset it again. They probably have a ward near me. I throw down a sentry ward to try to block some auto attacks from the Freya or the Anhur as they go in. Sure enough, the Freya starts to auto attack it. I can knock up the Agni, get some pressure in the back line. It's going to go ahead and knock back the Freya the wrong way, getting her a little bit more out of this fight. Freya using her ultimate on me, but she can't quite reach me, and she's going to keep going extremely deep for me, and she will die for her insolence. She went too deep. Apollo calling to attack, just in case you didn't hear it. The first 4 times, he said it 5 times, and maybe they just heard it the 5th time. And Apollo is going in. He's going to pop that kill on the Sylvanas, meaning they have no tier 3 hog for this Gold Fury. And we are going to have ourselves a very easy Gold Fury, picking up a double kill for himself. That is going to put the Apollo at least a full level ahead of the Anhur. Should also help him quite a lot on the gold aspect. Chalk pushing the solo lane by himself, but that's alright. Gold Fury will give us much more gold than a single tower will, and we will gladly take this exchange. The game is backed even. Agni extremely low. I see that he is right here, and I'm going to kill him. I swear I am, and then he Aegises, and that stops my ultimate from happening. Luckily, I can bop him with my 1, and I will die here, but I feel glorious for killing the Agni. Very good Aegis from the Agni, preventing my ultimate from going off, meaning I had to use my 1, which I was going to use to get away, instead to kill him. But I will take that support for the middle. It also allows my mid laner to grab the mid tower while Apollo is grabbing the ADC tower for himself. Once again, checking through actives, seeing what people have. Need to make sure that the actives are always on check. Letting my team know that the Agni Aegis is down. It's a really good thing to communicate to your team to let them know what actives are up and what actives are down on teams. You don't really need to communicate that skills are down except for ultimates. Communicate that ultimates are down on characters. Communicate that skills are down. Perhaps if jungle camps are down, stuff like that. If you know, oh, I saw them with the blue buff, but it's still on our map or whatever. The blue buff's down. Stuff like that. Big picture things. You don't need to know, like, Anhur impale down unless it's in a team fight. Like, then that's important. But if your mid laner is chilling in mid lane and your jungler is in mid lane and Anhur uses impale, you don't need to clog the chat by saying Anhur's impale is down. That's not important. One support absolutely famous for saying stuff that didn't really matter. You know who you are. I love you to death. Just clearing this wave because the Apollo won't be able to get to it. In fact, the Apollo is ulting over to the mid lane looking for some trouble. Diving into the middle of the group, putting himself in a vulnerable position, but we're going to see if we can get a good fight here for ourselves. Sylvanas and Anhur are low. I'm looking for the root. Anhur's going to jump over the root. I have my weakening curse up, which is going to slow the Anhur enough for the Nemesis to pick up a kill. They're also going to pick up a kill on the Sylvanas, getting the dash onto the Agni, mezzing them, looking for roots. rooting the Agni. His dash does not come back up in time. We're getting a lot of kills off of this exchange. Trying to get out of the range of the Chalk Silence, I do. Putting my damage onto the Freya. I can't go too ham for her. I have to be careful. There is a Chalk in the backline tearing up my team. But I also want to try to protect my Vulcan as much as I can. He already seems to be upset with me. So if I can keep him alive, that's good. But I'm going to come over and help my Kronos get a free kill onto this Chalk. My Mez means he can guarantee land his stun and no problem. And that is a huge swing in experience for our team. Team thinking about pushing middle here, but I'm going to take the safe road and go ahead and back up. I can start working towards my Magi's Blessing as well as grabbing a couple of wars. We have officially taken the gold lead for about 1,000 gold here. Nothing too much, especially at about 20 minutes in the game. It's essentially even, but it's a lot better than being down 2,000 gold in like 5 minutes. So, yeah, take your wins where you can get them. Grabbing this back Harpy because I can clear it relatively fast and it's free XP. Now moving my way over towards this left lane where there is a giant wave of XP. But I'm not going to make it to it because Apollo's going to take it for himself. That is alright. I am actually 2 levels ahead of this Sylvanas even though we had a poor start. And this is about the time where I'm going to start kicking online in team fights. Our Vulcan is convinced that we will never win a team fight ever again and that we never should have won one in the first place. But you know what? We're going to tell him it's alright. We got this. Anher does not see me coming up behind him and he's going to jump away and I'm going to wait. Boom! That's right. You just got sniped by a Kumbha. Chow! If there's any reason to play Kumbha, if you can't think of a single one, it's to snipe people with your 1 and kill them. It is probably only feeling better than landing a raw snipe because you're literally throwing a minion at them. And it's just, it's so troll. It's so troll. It's so good, so good, so good. Don't yawn. Don't yawn. Sylvanas wasted his blink there, just put a little bit of pressure onto him, made him use his blink. That's good for us. Now his blink will be down. That's something you want to tell your team. Hey, their blink is down. Trying to put a little bit of pressure onto the Sylvanas. I see that my Nemesis is here. Nemesis uses the ult on Sylvanas. I use my ult so my Nemesis can catch up. Looking to get some damage onto him. I can kind of go under the tower, no big deal. But Freya comes in the backline with an Agni. Apollo getting a ton of damage off onto her. Freya having to use her ultimate to get away. I can keep this guy CC'd here for days, waiting for the Freya to come down before I use my weakening curse so she's slowed for the team. Sylvanas cannot heal himself, and we get 2 essentially free kills onto their team. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, the Agni is extremely low, and we're getting a decent bit of damage off over on this tower in the left-hand side. I need to back up, but I need to stay with my team as well. The Gold Fury has spawned. We have 2 of their players down. This should be a relatively free Gold Fury. Our gold lead is now extended to almost 4,000, and we are going to attempt to get this Gold Fury. A little bit risky right here. The Vulcan doing a pretty good job, though, distracting the enemy team from our Gold Fury. And I'm going to try to help him the best that I can. He almost lives, but he won't quite live long enough for my Mez. He will go, thank you, thank you. I don't know why he's saying thank you. I didn't save him. I don't know what he could possibly mean. But the fight continues. I'm looking for a route onto the Chalk. He has a great teleport away from my route, but that will not save him from his impending doom. Wanting to kill the Agni, but Sylvanas is back to help him, and we are extremely low. We are going to take this moment to back up, take our win, and extend our lead to about 5,000 gold. Finishing up my Magi's Blessing, I will now feel a lot more comfortable doing objectives. The Sylvanas ultimate will not knock me up into the air, assuming my Magi's is up, and I can grab a Sentry Ward, which will be oriented towards the Fire Giant. Now, right now, they're probably not doing the Fire, but they could be doing a Hail Mary play going for the Fire. We have the Kronos go over to check the Fire. It's free for him to go check it. Doesn't matter. He sees nobody is there. We're totally okay. Were they probably doing it? No. Could they have been? Yes. It would have been kind of an all-in play, like a panic decision. But they are down about 5,000 plus gold right now, and it's 23 minutes in. Could have happened. Good play from the Kronos to go check it to make sure they were not. Once again, I make the Sylvanas waste his blink, which means they have less initiation than they would like. Mezzing the Freya, I can then bop her, get some damage off on her, and Freya has to waste her ultimate, and she's going to go ahead and fall to our Apollo, who is on a rampage, doing very well after a very poor early game due to our bad lane combination against their very good lane combination. Zoning out the Agni into the back line. He is very scared now. Coming back in, see if I can help my team. Using my weakening curse to prevent them from healing any further, but we do have to be a bit careful. The Agni getting picked up by a Kronos stun. I try to ultimate him for the kill, but he's going to go ahead and dash away. My ultimate will go on cooldown and will have missed. Looking to root the Anher off of my Vulcan. I've got to be a bit careful here. The Agni misses his bomb. Anher taking a lot of damage, getting caught by the Nemesis ultimate, and I can go ahead and pick up a free kill onto that Anher. Looking to pick up this Agni as well. He has a moving Aegis, because who does that? The Sylvanas is using his blink to jump in and heal the Agni, and we're trying our best to kill this Agni, but he's so hard to find. I try to bop the Agni with a minion, but he is going to dash away to safety just in time. No big deal. Relatively even fight for us. And you see again, those ghosts, they happen, you know, I sense them. I'm like trying to back, and then I'm going to fool them and hog them again. And I'm just, you know, I really wanted to make sure that I'm killing ghosts for you guys. And that, you know, and I risked that, because what if they went to do Fire Giant? I didn't have hog up. You know, it's a big risk taking that decision. But sometimes you have to just take one for the team, and you got to kill those ghosts, you know. Our Vulcan miraculously not dying because Freya missed one of her ultimates, and he's so lucky, it's ridiculous. But he is the greatest, so you do have to factor that in. It's not really the Freya's fault. He is the best player in the game. So what are you going to do? Now we do have one person down, so we're kind of thinking about maybe doing an objective, tower, fire giant, etc. Our Vulcan had to back though, so it would have been a 4v4 type situation, but we can look for some of this lane pressure. Chalk looking to put some pressure on me in the right lane. No big deal. I can mez him right off. Take a couple hundred damage. Who cares? I'll regen that up. At this point, we're just kind of looking for pickoffs into an objective. The Apollo having a fight over in the left lane with the Anher. It is a close fight. It is neck and neck, and then it is no longer a 1v1 because the 1v1 is no longer sacred to anybody, and Vulcan is going to go ahead and pick up that kill on the Anher. Meanwhile, the Apollo is going to full lifesteal up to full health because that's a balanced character. But he's like, you know what? I can also just back up and heal and probably get an ultimate to come back in because that's also fair. Okay. Wanting to put some pressure on the left lane, calling everybody over here. I can go ahead and tank this tower while I'm waiting for the minions to show up. No big deal. I know Kronos has a lot of people over by him, which means that we are free to take this tower in the left lane. Going to give us a lot of map pressure now from this side of the map. Kronos getting away because Kronos can ultimate and just appear back in the base. Very happy that nobody plays Kronos anymore. Please don't start playing Kronos again. I will do anything. I do not miss that meta. Taking away his plant because I don't like plants. I like sleeping. Obviously, those are opposed to each other. Looking to get out our wards. We have a ton of damage with our group makeup, and we are bursting this fire giant as fast as we can, and we're going to get it before they even realize what is happening. Sylvanas never had a chance to get in, and the team fight will ensue. The Agni dashes down, which means it's my job to put some pressure on him. I dash into him, ultimate him, and I'm going to be able to pick up a kill while the Apollo was stunned. Getting back to the group, trying to help my Vulcan. The Freya is in the air, which means the second she comes down, it is time for my weakening curse. She is not healing, and she is slowed, and I'm going to use as much crowd control on her that we need. Trying to save my Nemesis. My Nemesis will be able to get away. And the legendary Chase of the Tree begins. So, you might be thinking, Incon, why not group up and go push a tower? No. Not this. Not when it's this tree here. Not this guy. I see the Nemesis rotating over to me. All I got to do is stay on this guy, and he is as good as dead. So I'm going to follow him around for the next 27 centuries. Mezzing him, body blocking him so he would have to run towards the Nemesis. The ultimate in an attempt to get away. Meanwhile, the Apollo is pushing the mid lane. This was my goal the whole time. If I prevented him from backing, there would be nobody to defend the base besides the Anher, which presumably my Kronos and Apollo will be able to kill. Bada bing, bada boom. He will not get away. Could I have let my Nemesis have that kill? Yes, I could have. But I began this legendary tree path, and I will end this legendary tree path. Only getting one tower out of this, no big deal. My team is going to go ahead and back up. We can reset. Starting to work my way into a Soul Reaver now. We are a very solid gold lead right now, 11,000 gold. just a couple hundred away from Soul Reaver, and we can start to put this one in the bag. Getting a free Gold Fury, because why not? That will give us just enough gold for my Soul Reaver. Picking up our buffs, we still have a solid 2 minutes left on our Fire Giant, and we can look to do something with that. Big threats on their team right now. One being Freya. Going into the late game, you got to be very careful with a Freya. And her, of course, any ADC getting into their late game is going to be a big deal. Chalk and Sylvanas are okay towards the end of the game. They never got that big to begin with, so not too worried about them. And then Agni, you just need to watch out for his big AoE burst damage. At this point, we still have a full minute and a half left on our Fire Giant, so we're going to use that time and we're going to group up and try to get some objectives. They should not be able to defend on a tier 2 tower, not with our gold and XP lead. I am now 5 levels ahead of the Sylvanas. I am max level. The Sylvanas is not even close to max level. I can tank this tower no problem. We have a Kronos. Kronos does a stupid amount of tower damage. We also have an ADC. They do a lot of tower damage, and we can burn down that tier 2 tower in no time at all. At this point, we don't have any NPCs anywhere close to us, but we are relatively big, so we're thinking about diving this tower. The Sylvanas is off to the side, and I indicate to my team that he's probably going to blink in an ult. Unfortunately, it is hard to prevent him from doing it. I try to hit him with the root so he can't blink in an ult on my team, but he gets it off just before the root, and we get engaged in a very poor team fight that leads to us getting killed right here. But they didn't just use all of their skills on me and the Kronos, and we still have our Apollo, Nemesis, Vulcan up. The Vulcan dies. They are all extremely low health. The Vulcan still wants to surrender even though we're 12,000, 13,000 gold ahead. Nemesis trying her best, ulties the and her trying to jump over the wall. He can't get close enough to the wall. We have an Apollo going for the kill. He wants it really badly. He totally ultied somebody. He was getting those ghosts that we were talking about earlier. Little known fact, Apollo's ultimate can hit the ghost as well. And Nemesis is going to clean up the kill onto Chuck. And our Apollo and Nemesis will look for a Phoenix. All in all, that team fight could have been a lot worse. Ended up being very good, considering the very good plays made by our Apollo and our Nemesis at the end of that team fight. Our minions finally decide to show up, and we're going to be able to take down a mid Phoenix. Their team is completely dead. We can start to head towards the Fire Giant, or the Fire Giant, and that is starting to respawn, and we can get ourselves another essentially free Fire Giant. If they try to fight this, we have our whole team up. They will not have their whole team up. Considering the gold advantage that we have right now, they will definitely need their whole team in order to fight us. I should have gotten a sentry ward right here, but I did not. I only grabbed a regular ward. It would have been safer to have a sentry and a regular. That way I could have warded the Fire Giant. They don't have a ward on it because they haven't been there in a long time, but it would have been nice to have, you know, a guarantee they don't have a ward on it. But I do happen to know that they don't have any vision on it. They're all kind of chilling by the mid lane, and we don't have any real vision on them, but we don't see them up by their base, and we don't see them coming around towards the Fire Giant. And if you don't see them by the Fire Giant, I mean, let's do the Fire Giant. Kronos starting it up himself, doing quite a bit of damage because he's a Kronos. Coming in so I can tank it for him just at the right time as he got knocked out of the pit. And between the Kronos and the Apollo, we're going to burn down this Fire Giant before you can say Fire Giant. It is our time to shine. Kumbha is in full activate mode. Our Apollo is going completely ham. He is afraid of nothing. Our Kronos is afraid of nothing. Our Nemesis can ult somebody and immediately kill them because they will have no protections. Freya already had to burn her ultimate. She is going to get picked off no problem. I messed her to get the guaranteed kill, and we can start to look towards these Phoenixes. Chuck in the backline, that's his act. He will not be teleporting back to that. Perhaps we can look for a kill onto the Chuck, but he's going to start running the opposite way of the Phoenix. We will not be chasing him this time. We want a Phoenix for our money bags. I see some pressure in the backline with the Kronos. tanking the tower. All the meanwhile, the Phoenix will drop. I get really low, but I tank the Phoenix for my team the whole time. Looking for some kills. If we can pick up a kill, that'd be really helpful moving into this right Phoenix. We cannot, but Freya is still dead for 30 seconds, so we have plenty of time to pick up another Phoenix, no problem. If they misplay here, we might even be able to pick up a couple of kills and end the game. The Phoenix immediately dropping. 15 seconds still left on Freya. Kronos landing a fantastic stun onto the Agni, which means we can pick him up. I want it back because I'm so low, but I want to stay because we can end the game. The Anhur dies. The Chalk is low. The Sylvanas is low. Can we kill them? Doesn't matter. We're going to go for this Titan. We're going to end this game. That's how you play Kumbha Karna. You make it to the end game, and you can help your team out. Let's head into this win streak. We came out of this game victorious. We're going to take a quick look here at the numbers. Kumbha doesn't do that much damage, 10,000 damage, not the big deal. What you're really looking at is that damage mitigated, damage taken, being a big front line, mitigating a lot of damage. And really the stat that doesn't show that what really matters is how much crowd control you're placing out on Kumbha Karna. You're mezzing the whole group. You're rooting people. You're knocking people up. You're bopping minions into people to pick up kills. You're doing a lot of work behind the scenes that doesn't pop up on the numbers. Kumbha Karna, not the glory god, but a fantastic god nonetheless. Looking at our final build here, we had our Midas boots into Sovereignty. After that, picking up that Magi's Blessing because they had a lot of CC on their team with Agni stuns, Sylvanas stuns, Freya whoops, Shock, Anhur, all kinds of crazy stuff. Picking up a Pestilence. They had quite a bit of healing with Chalk self-healing, Sylvanas healing, Freya's got a passive lifesteal, Anhur's building lifesteal. Good item all around Pestilence. Plus they had a lot of magical damage. They had 3 magical characters. And finishing up with Soul Reaver to help on our ultimate procs. Finishing up 7-4 in 16. And we did quite well this game, really showing off the highlights of Kumbha Karna with his mediocre early game and his stellar late game. Hope you guys liked the video. This was a highly requested video. Hoping to get to Fenrir this week will be presumably the last video of the week for guides. If you guys liked it, please subscribe to me on YouTube, and you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter, where I stream Monday through Friday from the mornings to the afternoons, generally 9 to 3 East. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Have a twitching day, y'all.